Welcome to Agenda Edina, a news program summarizing the actions taken at City Hall that affect you most. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty. Residents are proud to call Edina home. That's the verdict from the latest quality of life survey of Edina residents by an independent research company. In the survey conducted this spring by Decision Resources, 98% of respondents rated the quality of life in Edina as excellent or good.
It's been 11 years since the last survey, and I wouldn't say, to correct the former city manager, that you define the quality of life, but I really think you're the pace setters for the quality of life across the metropolitan area.
Other highlights of the survey include 92% of residents polled believe things in Edina are generally headed in the right track. 92% rated the ease of getting from place to place in Edina as excellent or good. The job of city staff was rated excellent or good by 91% of respondents. With the second highest rating in the metropolitan area, 79% believe that if they wanted to, they could have a say about the way things are run in the community. More than 30% could not identify a serious issue facing Edina today. Other issues identified by about 1 in 10 people were taxes and lack of redevelopment. Decision Resources completed the random survey of about 400 Edina residents in April and May. The results are accurate to plus or minus 5% and will aid city decision makers going forward.
So everybody wanted one thing, and that was make Edina a better place to live for everybody that lives here. So it's nice to see some of these things reflected in a quality of life survey, and we look forward to working hard at it in the future too.
The City Council and City Manager have indicated their intention to complete a quality of life survey again in 2 to 4 years. In an effort to make citizen engagement even stronger in Edina, the city is working to involve residents in a new way through an interactive blog site. EdinaCitizenEngagement.org features discussions on several topics under consideration, including the 2012 budget, redevelopment of Southdale Center, and the Grandview Small Area Plan.
You know, Edina is a place with a lot of intellectual talent and resources. We can sit here passively and hope that those resources come to us, or we can go out and try to bring them to us and be a little more active about it. And that's what this entire project is supposed to do. We're supposed to go out and see what's happening in the community and try to bring as much of that intellectual talent into city government as we can.
The blog site is moderated by Griff Wigley of Wigley & Associates, a consultant City Manager Scott Neal has worked with in the past in other cities. Wigley is working to spur online discussions to gather feedback that will be valuable to the city as important decisions are made.
So the whole idea is provide people a variety of ways of getting engaged with city government, not only finding out information, but also suggesting, participating, contributing, offering their own ideas.
In late June, the city hosted its first live online chat through the blog site. Additional live chats or webinars are anticipated in the coming months. A newly formed task force will soon make recommendations for 2012 Human Services funding. The task force, made up of members of Edina's advisory boards and commissions, will make recommendations on human service funding to the Edina City Council. The group will review proposals from providers who indicate how they intend to meet the needs of Edina residents.
The proposals from the professional providers will be reviewed by this task force. And as a result, the city's funding will help meet the needs of people in Edina when it comes to transportation, emergency services, and families.
Past recipients of the city's human services funding include Conflict Resolution Center, Cornerstone, Edina Resource Center, Normandale Center for Healing and Wholeness, Senior Community Services, Store to Door, The Bridge, Volunteers Enlisted to Assist People, and Women in Transition. Donated in the 1970s, the property that has become Arneson Acres Park is home to some of the most colorful gardens in the community. It's a perfect spot to enjoy the beauty of the outdoors. Agenda Edina producer Steve Christensen has more.
Every spring, Tim Zimmerman and his crew are busy preparing the gardens at Arneson Acres for some of the most beautiful displays in Edina.
What they expect to see when they come to Arneson Acres is that, first of all, they're going to be coming through a beautiful gazebo that was donated by the Edina Garden Council. And then formal gardens, which consists of duplicate plantings. What you see in the beginning as you walk through the formal gardens, you'll see at the opposite end. Also, there's 4 perennial beds. They're 110 feet long by 20 feet wide, and they bloom throughout the summer from April until a hard frost, which is October and beginning of November.
The 13-acre garden park is home to a large variety of plants, from elephant ear, Zaharofire zinnia, and daylilies.
We have 2 types of daylilies. Basically, it's a hemerocallis. These are daylily seedlings donated by Edina resident Carol Emmerich. This is one of the newer type versions that's on the market.
Donated by Morton and Catherine Arneson, the park serves as the main greenhouse for the city.
In Edina, we have 2 city greenhouses where the city plantings mainly come from, which is supplied to a little over 100 gardens throughout the city.
And many of those displays can be found right here at Arneson Acres Park. For Edina 16, I'm Steve Christensen.
The gazebo or terrace room can be rented for private events by contacting the city's Park and Recreation Department. In other city parks, there's a program that promotes youth fun, fitness, and creativity. Edina 16's Scott Denfeld has more.
Edina playgrounds are awesome!
Ask nearly any kid who participated in one of the Park and Recreation Department's 7 playground programs this summer what they thought of the experience, and that's the answer you'll receive.
It's called the Edina Playground Program, a program that offers fun socialization and activities for kids.
One playground leader in particular played a large role in making it such a positive experience.
I actually came when I was a kid, so when I was about 6 or 7, I went to the Highlands Playground Program. I don't know if little kids can handle that.
Now a leader in the program for his 3rd year, Zach's impact on the kids has been significant.
We got to know him last year, and my kids loved him so much they asked if he could babysit, and so
I asked.
You asked, yep.
A leader like Zach is the epitome of what a good staff playground leader is. He role models, he's creative in his activities that he plans for the kids. He loves all age groups. He works with 4 to 5-year-olds just as well as he works with the 11 to 14-year-olds. And he's a great young man.
And according to Zach, the kids aren't the only ones who gain from the experience of the Playgrounds program.
It's basically in my job description to provide these kids with a fun, encouraging atmosphere, but I find that the kids do that for us. They provide an atmosphere where really, if you're having any trouble or like stress at home or whatever it be, like the moment you step in with these kids and like around their energy and innocence, it's amazing.
I told you I could do a backflip.
It's had such an impact on Zach that it may even help guide him as he moves on to the next stage of his life.
I would definitely like to, in the future, somehow work with kids.
But before he faces the future, Zach made sure to take advantage of the present.
It's basically a job where I just get to be a kid again, essentially. Run around with the kids, do slip and slide with the kids, and you can bring out your inner goofiness, and that's what is encouraged, so it's great.
And Zach is always ready to help his kids, even when it meant helping them with their throwing arm. For Edina 16, I'm Scott Denfeld.
Registration for next year's playgrounds and other summer programs will begin in February. Still to come, the city begins consideration of a domed sports facility. But first, a romantic encounter at Center Ice when we return.
A best friend is a special thing to have. They are there to share your experiences and adventures, or help you celebrate when you are happy, and be there for you when you are feeling sad. They take care of you like only a best friend can. So take care of your best friend the way they take care of you. Make sure your dog is licensed, has the proper vaccinations, and wears its tags at all times. Also, for the safety of your dog and others, be sure to use a leash when on walks or out in public. If you take good care of your dog, they will be around a long time to take care of you too. For more information on laws concerning pets, call Edina City Hall or visit www.cityofedina.com.
Welcome back to Agenda Edina. Diamonds have long been referred to as ice. When Ken Smith proposed this summer, he did it with the biggest piece of ice in the community. In June, Smith asked his girlfriend, Carolyn Sparks, to marry him at Center Ice in Braymar's East Arena. It was the site of their first date in July 2009 when they came for open skating.
As we were walking to the skate shop, I was like, oh, hey, you remember our first date? And she's like, oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was over here, wasn't it? And I'm like, yeah. So we walk in here, and she's like, why is a Zamboni on the ice, and why are there flowers? But she hadn't put it together yet. And then she starts listening to the music, Claire de Lune, which is one of her favorite pieces of music. And she's like, wow, that's my favorite piece of. And then it started to hit her right when we were walking down the east rink steps. She's like, something's going on.
Manager Doug Bauman believes Smith's proposal was the first of its kind at Braemar Arena. After recruiting 76 participants to donate blood on behalf of Edina Police, the department walked away, placing third out of 14 departments in the annual Battle of the Badges. Here's Edina 16's Kaylin Martin with more on the story.
Police and fire departments typically work together across the metro to save lives. However, this June they went head-to-head to do the same thing.
About 1 in 3 people needs blood at some point in their life. It is the most common procedure in hospitals.
Memorial Blood Center hosts Battle of the Badges twice a year, but earlier this summer the event was a little different at Edina City Hall. The city welcomed city employees and residents alike to participate in this year's blood drive.
This year we moved into a larger space and invited the community in also, which is what we did 11 years ago when an officer needed blood real bad, was the community came out and showed their outpouring of support. So we wanted to replicate that.
The officer was Mike Blood, who, just weeks away from his retirement, was critically wounded in 2000 during a gun battle and ended up needing more than 120 units of blood to save his life. For Battle of the Badges, officers, firefighters, friends, and family are able to donate blood in honor of their favorite police and fire department. The department with the greatest percentage of donors wins the battle.
It's just more of a friendly competition than anything. There's no reward other than knowing that you've brought in some blood donors.
City employee Steve Grousam has donated blood more times than he can remember. He says it's quick and pain-free. Well, almost.
It doesn't take long, and if you can just squint your eyes and go to your happy place when they poke you, then everything will be good.
With Max Ornstein, I'm Kaylin Martin, Edina 16.
The Anoka County Sheriff's Office placed first in Battle of the Badges with 108 donors, and Minneapolis PD placed second with 78. A group of residents is leading the charge for an indoor turf and field recreation facility. Shannon Rusk and Paige Rickard are leading an effort to build a seasonal Sportsdome in the community. They envision a facility that would accommodate youth athletic associations, walkers, youth recreation programs, adult sports leagues, Edina Public Schools events such as graduation and pep fests, fundraisers, and corporate events. The facility would measure approximately 108,000 square feet and would be operational 26 weeks of the year.
We're seeing that there's so many other communities that have this facility already, and we thought why Edina should certainly be having one of those. As we went out initially and talked to some of the, what we call the Tier 1 users, which are all Edina youth and the different sporting associations, the demand is there. So that initiated us to continue on and look at different sites to make sure that we could afford it.
Last month, Rusk and Rickard asked the City Council for their support. In response, the Council directed the Park Board to complete a facilities inventory to determine what is needed. If a sports dome is determined to be necessary, the Park Board will determine the best location and whether it should be operated by the city, a private organization, or through a public-private partnership. Besides advocating for a sports dome, the group of residents is working to improve other athletic facilities in the community. They have begun selling engraved pavers as a fundraiser for improvements at McCarthy Field on the Edina Community Center campus.
The pavers are going in. The Edina Football Association is kind of spearheading this, but we're hoping that all the associations, whether it be soccer, baseball, lacrosse, rugby, you name it, we're hoping that everybody will get involved in helping us sell pavers and come together for this big vision of creating a safe environment for our youth to play on the McCarthy Field over here, which is a little bit worn and weathered over time.
The pavers will be placed in a pathway near Coleman Field. The organization, Volunteers Enlisted to Assist People, otherwise known as VEAP, is looking for help in giving neighborhood children the opportunity to start the school year with the basic supplies necessary for a good education. VEAP's Back to School program provides children in need with a backpack filled with basic supplies appropriate for their grade levels. In 2010, VEAP served more than 3,000 children in need of supplies for school. Statistics from all VEAP programs indicate that the number will rise to 3,600 as students return to the classroom this fall.
VEAP is looking for the community to come forward and bring us donations, and we need lots of them. In order for us to serve 3,600 children, it's roughly 140 to 145,000 supplies that we need to fill our warehouse up with.
There is a need for backpacks and basic supplies. Financial donations to VEAP are also welcome to assist in the purchase of items needed for distribution. All donations must be due to ensure that the students' supplies are similar in quality. No used items will be accepted. Donations can be sent at any time to the VEAP office in Bloomington or through August 11th at Edina City Hall or Fire Station Number 1. Donated items will be distributed the last week of August. Before we go, we want to highlight some of the many upcoming events in our community. The Edina Police Department encourages neighborhoods to join forces with communities statewide for Night to Unite, a national crime prevention event. Neighbors are encouraged to lock their doors, turn on outside lights, and spend the evening outdoors with neighbors. The Farmers Market at Centennial Lakes Park is underway, held 3 to 7 p.m. every Thursday throughout the summer. Centennial Lakes Park is also the site of Movies in the Park at dusk on Thursday evenings. This month's movies are Social Network, Up, The Proposal, and Inception. The Edina Model Yacht Club's Lighthouse Night will be held August 14th at Centennial Lakes Park. More than 100 tiki torches will burn behind the Centrum, and the park's special lighting will be highlighted. At 8 p.m., there will be open boating in the Central Pond for model yachts. The First John Philip Sousa Memorial Band will perform in the amphitheater at 8:30 p.m. At dusk, the boats from the Model Yacht Club will light up the lake. Interior cockpit and cabin lights, searchlights, and floodlights will shimmer off the water. The backdrop will be a floating and fully operational scaled model of a lighthouse. Enjoy these last few weeks of summer before Edina's school bells ring. Thanks for watching this month's episode of Agenda Edina. I'm your host, Dorothea Marty.